President Obama is expected today to nominate John Brennan as the next director of the Central Intelligence Agency and former Republican Senator Chuck Hagel as Defense Secretary. But we begin by looking at John Brennan, 25-year CIA veteran who currently serves as Obama's top counterterrorism advisor. Brennan's played a key role in the expansion of Obama's secret drone war and has been dubbed by some to be the, quote, Assassination Czar. Brennan was a rumored pick for the job when Obama was first elected in 2008, but was forced to withdraw from consideration amidst protest over his role at the CIA under George W. Bush. Brennan had publicly supported the CIA's policies of so-called enhanced interrogation techniques and extraordinary rendition.
If Barack Obama had the equivalent of a Dick Cheney, so somebody who is involved in all of the national security decisions, is the last person to speak to Obama before he makes these decisions, if we trust him, if we believe he actually asks Obama these decisions, the one who has centralized almost all of these decisions under himself, it would be John Brennan. So since, in Obama's first term, Brennan has been the one who has been at Obama's side for all of these national security decisions.
I want to turn to John Brennan's remarks last May when he publicly confirmed the United States has used drones to conduct targeted killings overseas.
President Obama believes that done carefully, deliberately, and responsibly, we can be more transparent and still ensure our nation's security. So let me say it as simply as I can. Yes, in full accordance with the law, and in order to prevent terrorist attacks on the United States and to save American lives, the United States government conducts targeted strikes against specific al-Qaeda terrorists, sometimes using remotely piloted aircraft, often referred to publicly as drones. And I'm here today because President Obama has instructed us to be more open with the American people about these efforts.
That's John Brennan, who President Obama, it is said, will be nominating to be head of the CIA. Marcy Wheeler, these comments.
Well, what your listeners should know, first of all, is that John Brennan has lied explicitly about drones in the past. In 2011, 2010, he basically said there had been no civilian casualties at all from drones. So when John Brennan makes public statements, he also had a famous press conference right after the killing of Osama bin Laden where he made a lot of misleading statements as well. So when John Brennan says something, you shouldn't necessarily believe John Brennan. And we know from what he said in that speech, there were specific details that were inaccurate. So Obama's notion of being transparent with John Brennan, a proven liar, doesn't fly. Moreover, given that we know now, we didn't know when he made that speech, that John Brennan is the guy who's basically, like I said, the last decision maker before Obama signs off on drone strikes or not, he has a pretty big incentive to spin the process in such a way that he's protected legally. Because if, in fact, they're not using rules, as they appear not to be in all cases, that would abide by international law, he's at quite a bit of exposure. So now we can go out there and claim to be transparent and make this speech about these great standards they're using, which they're not, because that, the speech he made doesn't account for signature strikes, which involve patterns rather than specific intelligence, and it protects him, but it's not transparency, and the administration has repeatedly refused to be transparent about the most basic issues with regards to their program.